Welcome back to Recovering from Everything, a podcast for everyone who has ever had anything happen to them ever. And also the podcast for driven, high-achieving women who look like they've got it all together, but secretly feel like a pile of shit inside sometimes. As you know, I'm Kinga. I've missed you. I am your host who apparently just takes months and months of breaks from the podcast. But like, listen, I'm not taking a break because I'm gallivanting about town, though I do that. I have been very, very much immersed in my community of women and making sure that they are moving forward and the community is growing and, new levels, new devils. So, my goal for August, I wrote it down, was to start recording podcast episodes again because, oh my gosh, I miss it every day. Uh, so much. And I really love doing the podcast. So I'm going to hammer out some episodes this month and hopefully they're helpful. And I also like need time in my life to like drudge up enough tea and lessons and to come out the other side of those things and like really learn those lessons. And so that just takes like experience. So I hope that's understandable. When I first started the podcast 3 years ago, I while being consistently in therapy and while having done all this work on myself, I don't know if I necessarily had the medium to really express in long form episodes some of the things that I'd gone through, but things that I'd learned and some of the experiences that had shaped me. So it was very easy for me to put out a podcast every single week. But now that I keep reaching different levels of perfection, it's a little bit more difficult for me to be like, well, I'm learning lessons all the time because either I'm not, or those lessons maybe take a little bit longer for me to learn because I am also busy with other things. So, anyways, we're back, baby. So, I missed you. And as always, you can find this on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Oh, another big asterisk to that is since moving over to YouTube, or since adding YouTube to the Recovering from Everything repertoire, I've had to make sure that I look sort of like a human when I'm recording the videos. So in the past, when it was just audio on Spotify and Apple, I would be lying on my couch, and when an idea would strike me and I would start to sort of formulate it, I could just literally record it because it was just my voice. But now I have to also make sure that I look like not a train wreck. So go on, brush your shoulders off. Okay. I'm actually being no-showed right now by a woman who really wanted to join the program. So that's why I look like this. Let's get into today's episode. A truth bomb that I have lived through, and many of my clients have, all of my clients have lived through, that high functioning is just a code for dying quietly when it comes to our alcohol use. So, should be good. Buckle up. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about this adorable little lie, this sort of like illusion that we have all clung to at some point. I'm high functioning. I can't have a problem with alcohol because my life is too good. And I certainly can't even allow myself to go there to think about my drinking or making any changes, because admitting that I have a problem is not for a woman like me. And so that's why, high functioning is just kind of like a code for dying quietly. So let me start to sort of like break through this illusion, this mask, this sort of like character that we've built in order to hide or protect our relationship with alcohol. It really means I am slowly disintegrating, but I still make it to the golf games. I still make it to the parent teacher interviews. I still make it to my work conference in a blazer. It's this sort of the high functioning label is like this badge of honor that we will wear to distract other people and very often ourselves from the truth. It is what we say to ourselves when we want to believe that the problem isn't really a problem. It means you can, lead a team meeting at 10 a.m. and then be very nauseated on your bathroom floor at 11 a.m. It means you can hit your project deadlines, but miss your kid's bedtime. It's walking into a room looking beautiful, composed, and then wondering if anyone can still smell the alcohol on you from the night before. High functioning is a performance art. And the thing about being a good performer is you get applause. People tell you, wow, you've got it all. Wow, I don't know how you keep it all together. And you nod politely. And inside you're thinking, neither do I. And I'm not sure how much longer I can keep this up. I don't know when the facade is going to fall. And that's a lot of fear, and that is a lot of stress, and that is a lot of shame, a lot of hiding. It's a lot of work going into hiding behind this appearance. And it's a trap. It's a trap. And the trap is that high functioning convinces you that you're fine, right? Like you think, I have a job, I have friends, I pay my bills. This isn't problematic. This isn't a big deal. So you push it down, you distract, you avoid, you keep juggling things on the outside, and you keep hiding in plain sight. But functioning doesn't equal thriving. Functioning doesn't mean that you're healthy. Functioning just means you figured out how to, keep the plates spinning while your nervous system is like screaming because it's on fire. And I've had clients tell me, Kinga, no one knew. Like I never missed work. I never got a DUI. I never embarrassed myself at a party. And I'll look at them and say like, and like you still woke up every morning feeling like crap. You are waking up all the time at 3 a.m. That's not nothing. And you can be a CEO and still be spiritually bankrupt. You can be a PTA president and still cry in your car before pickup. You can have the picture perfect holiday photos and still dread every single moment leading up to them. You can go on beautiful, lavish vacations and spend the entire time figuring out what time the bars are open, where you can drink, what corner can you sneak that next drink in, where's the closest, liquor store, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, this illusion of high functioning, while it may be very true on the outside, uh, it sort of falls apart on the inside. And we're working so hard to maintain the illusion that we stay stuck because it doesn't look bad enough from the outside to warrant any change. It's kind of like a slow leak in like your tire. Like you don't notice it until you're stranded on the side of the road. I remember in my own life, I was managing to keep it all together, my career, my home, my relationships, but it was sort of like scaffolding. Like underneath it, I was exhausted, I was hungover, I was sort of like a shell of myself. um and that's sort of emotionally and psychologically. Physically, like God only knows what was happening. I'd be on for other people, and I would do my best, and even there would be like these sort of like holes in my sort of. I think I would just get so exhausted by trying to like paint this sort of like image that I would sort of drop my paintbrush from time to time, and it would be very like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I said that, or you know, and then at the end of the day, like I needed wine. There was no two ways about it. Like I remember when I was living in Toronto, like I think I've shared this in another podcast, but like I would stop. I was taking the subway to and from work, and I would stop at this one subway station every day, because they had a liquor store. And so like every day after work, I was stopping off there and then going home with like a brand new bottle of wine. And it's funny because people in my like I run ads on Facebook, and people will go in the comments and be like, there's no way you were drinking a bottle of wine every night. Like, yes, yes, yes. And a bottle, like it sounds a lot when you say like, oh, a bottle of wine every night, but like that's four glasses. Like it's only four. Do you know how quickly you can get through four glasses? Um, so yeah, I was like working really hard, in my performance art during the day. I think I was working in marketing for a while in Toronto. Anyways, and yeah, every day I would stop. And then when I started my sort of more like corporate like blazer, job, when I was working in corporate affairs for this one company, I was just buying like one or two bottles at a time because I had a little bit more money coming in. And so it was much easier to buy in bulk, I suppose. I also like had a car. Anyways, but it was the end of the day, like I would reach for wine like my life depended on it. Like there wasn't even a thought to like not have drinks at the end of the day. It it wasn't because I like really like wine. I needed the effects of it. I needed to check out. I just needed like a rest basically from uh what I was pretending to be. It was survival. And that's what high functioning often is. It's survival in a blazer. The cost of all of that, obviously, is chronic burnout. Relationships hanging on by threads, um, missing actual connection because I was so busy maintaining this illusion, um, and a deep disconnection from my own needs and who I was as a human, as a woman, as a, girlfriend, wife, friend, um, because addressing those needs or addressing who I had become was so dark and so inconvenient to the life that I was trying to portray. So I imagine that will make sense to many of you. And here's what I want you to take away from this. If you relate to this, you are not broken or anything like that, but you are well overdue. You are overdue for rest. You are overdue for nervous system repair. You are overdue for an honest look at whether functioning is good enough for you anymore. Um, and because you can't heal in the same conditions that made you um, this way, um, and you can't thrive while pretending things are fine, I just encourage you to find a space, whether with me in my women's program. Not This is not like a sales pitch, but I am really freaking good at what I do. And the community is honestly the best. It's basically like a small cult at this point. It's mwah. Um, I do encourage you to find a space. And again, that could also be just watching my YouTube videos or listening to the podcast, where you can start to let that illusion go, even if it's just for a 20-minute episode, you know, a couple times a week. I highly, highly encourage you to carve out a little bit of space for yourself where the illusion can go away, but you're also not self-harming or self-avoiding with alcohol. So maybe it's in a journal, maybe it is screaming in the woods, whatever it is for you. Start there, because you, listener, watcher, um, have likely been neglected for potentially decades by your own hand. So you don't have to keep performing. You can thrive, you can feel, you can exist and connect in enjoyable ways. That is the point of everything, to live a life of enjoyment. Um, that is a part of what I do with my community, but also in the podcast space, is give you, you know, the sort of dark path, but the light at the end of the tunnel. I promise it is possible, and I am, you know, walking evidence of that. So if any of this is resonating with you, go binge some of the other episodes. There's some good stuff, especially in the first couple years that I started the podcast. I mean, I cover it all, I think. Divorce, dating after divorce, which, I mean, those are some of my funniest episodes, I think. But um, also some uh, really good sort of like psychological revelations that I have had that have helped shape me and shape my life into really a wonderful, beautiful thing. So you deserve a nice life where you your sweet little soul is thriving, and you might not believe it yet, but I know it to be true. So that's it. Thanks for listening to another episode of Recovering from Everything, a podcast for everyone who has ever had anything happen to them, ever, but especially for my high functioning performance artists. I love you, and I will see you on the next episode. Oh, if you do want to join the community, um, I will link it in the podcast notes, in the show notes, and start with the masterclass. And if you like what I have to say, you can book a call with me at the end of the masterclass, and let's chat. Let's see what's up.